Good evening, I'm Haley Perot. Thank you for joining us on this half-hour holiday newscast. Today, Thunder Bay police arrested a suspect following a serious assault on Saturday. The suspect was taken into custody this afternoon following an assault of an elderly victim on the corner of Red River Road and Clarkson Avenue around 6:30 the evening of October 11th. The 85-year-old victim is said to have sustained serious injuries. The suspect will remain in custody and appear in court tomorrow. The police service is thanking members of the public who assisted in identifying the suspect after these visuals were released earlier today. A new medical clinic has opened its doors in Thunder Bay, offering hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Officials with Modern Medical on Alloway Place say the specialty design chambers have patients breathing 100% oxygen to help them with healing. The last time Thunder Bay had a hyperbaric chamber was in the 1980s, and back then it was only used for divers suffering from decompression sickness. Reagan Johnson reports.
Modern Medical has brought a form of treatment to Thunder Bay that patients here have never had access to: hyperbaric oxygen therapy. The clinic has 8 Health Canada approved hyperbaric chambers with the price tag of $250,000 apiece. Patients will spend 2 hours a day in the chambers, 5 days a week for a total of 40 sessions. Modern Medical's CEO, Dr. Megan Labine, explains why this treatment is effective.
Hyperbaric chambers work by a patient goes into a completely see-through acrylic tube that we pressurize to 2 atmospheres and fill with 100% O2, so oxygen gas that they breathe in normally like they would just breathing like I'm breathing now. When they breathe that pressurized oxygen, it helps push that oxygen into the tissue and into the blood at about 6 times the rate of what you'd typically get if you're just breathing regular air.
This clinic is the first of its kind in the area, using hyperbaric chambers to treat 14 different conditions, such as non-healing wounds, radiation injury, and hearing loss. One example is Richard Kakagamic, a patient who is at risk of having his toes amputated due to a burn before trying this treatment. He feels the difference already and says it now has a much better opportunity to heal.
It's nice to know they have a team here together that's working together to help you, to understand better to what you're trying to do for yourself and also how they're trying to help you. It's a comfort knowing that people are there for you, but you have to do your part too. It's a team effort.
Kakagamic has been receiving the treatment for around 3 weeks now and has had 14 sessions. He is beginning to see the results that would otherwise not have been realistic.
So there is an overarching benefit to general people, but we like to focus on the ones that need it most.
Reagan Johnson, TBT News.
The 2025 cruise ship season in Thunder Bay has come to a close, with a total of 13 vessel visits to the city's waterfront. Officials say this season was another strong one, with a new cruise ship, the Victory 2, making its first 2 stops at the Pool 6 dock this past summer. Tourism manager Paul Pepe says they're now looking ahead to 2026. Jaden Billick has the details.
Officials are calling it another successful year after welcoming 4,800 international visitors to the community. Manager of Tourism Paul Pepe says the city just came short of last year's 15 port visits, but notes the season saw strong momentum, with Victory 2 marking its first visits and further interest growing from other cruise lines in 2026.
Yeah, well, economically it has a pretty big impact on the city. Last year I think we were about $4.5 million in total economic impact. This year it looks like we're going to be about $3.5 million. We had a few, a little less in terms of turnarounds this year, a couple of ships shy of what we had last year, but still a substantial, economic impact for essentially, 13 days of tourism.
Pepe notes the cruise lines were very happy with Thunder Bay and the improvements to the Pool 6 dock. He adds that the positive feedback from passengers and crews alike is helping strengthen the city's reputation as a Great Lakes destination with many attractions to visit.
Fort William Historical Park being certainly the most popular attraction for their guests, but they loved the Kakabeka Falls, Terry Fox, Hillcrest Park, and the waterfront itself. So very successful year, and the cruise ships even visited a lot of them, if not all of them, visited Silver Islet as well, and we can't leave that out of the mix because Silver Islet put together a really magical shore excursion program for all the cruise lines this year.
And on top of a successful season, it was a very strong summer for general tourism, with Thunder Bay holding the highest hotel occupancy rate in Ontario. Pepe notes that American tourism saw about a 9% drop compared to previous years. However, it wasn't as far off as they anticipated. Jaden Billick, TBT News.
A woman from Pass Lake has launched an effort to restore Thunder Bay's oldest brick building, which was built by her great-grandfather in the 1860s. The old McLaurin General Store is located along the Cam River off Syndicate Avenue. 94-year-old Jan Starr has spent many years trying to save it from demolition, and she recently hosted an event to gain support for its potential future. Jonathan Wilson has the story.
They all lived on the same street.
Jan Starr's family history in the Lakehead dates back over 160 years. She hosted this public gathering at the Waverley Library to highlight the importance of a largely forgotten city landmark, the McLaurin General Store. It was built in 1864 by her great-grandfather John Roy McLaurin, and it's the oldest brick structure in Thunder Bay.
I think I'm doing it for John R. to respect what he's done for the city. I'm doing it for my family to respect their heritage. We never know of our heritage. I've just been working on it recently, and I've found so many interesting facts, so many things that John Roy did for Thunder Bay. And I believe he needs to be honored.
The old store had many uses over the years, but has sat abandoned since 2001, when it somehow managed to survive a major fire at the Riverside Grain Products facility next door.
I don't know why it's still standing. There was a fire there at one time in the grain elevator, but the store still stands. It's pretty derelict right now, I must say. It does need lots of attention, but it can be done, I'm sure.
In 2017, Infrastructure Ontario was looking to demolish the old store and the neighboring Pool 8 grain elevator. Starr began a letter campaign to try to save the store, and in 2021, the province decided to save money and leave both buildings standing. Starr thinks McLaurin Store could be repurposed as a public attraction at the end of a future walking trail along the Cam River.
We need to look forward in our city and do things, think about what's going to happen tomorrow. And wouldn't it be lovely to have that walk, have something at the end that you could sit down, have a coffee, perhaps a museum, perhaps an art center. It would be so nice for the whole city.
When John McLaurin died in 1912, he was hailed as a pioneer and one of the most respected citizens in the city. But Starr thinks because he married an Indigenous woman, her great-grandmother Mary, that city leaders chose not to name anything after McLaurin, as they had for the McKellars, Robert McVicker, and John McIntyre.
Nothing, not a river, not a hospital, nothing is named after him.
Except that building that's been there, 160 years now?
It has. It was there before Confederation.
This gathering of local history buffs was intended to gather public support to restore and preserve the McLaurin General Store, because at 94 years old, Starr says she'll need others to carry on this mission.
I don't have much more time left, Jonathan, so this is my last kick in the bucket.
Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
The Legion Hall in Atikokan will be getting much-needed upgrades thanks to a federal government grant. Joy Langdon has more.
The Ontario government, through the NOHFC, is investing $90,228 to support renovations at the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 1.
Royal Canadian Legion Branch 145 has called this place home for almost 50 years. In that time, it has served as one of the main meeting places in Atikokan. But First Vice Elizabeth Shine told us before now, Atikokan residents had to travel to Thunder Bay or further for large events like wedding. With these upgrades, though, they could do that from their hometown.
I'm just overexcited is what it is right now. But whatever anybody wants to do, we're more than welcome to host it here. We're proud to do it, and we hope people will look to us in the future.
MPP of Thunder Bay Atikokan, Kevin Holland, was on hand to announce the grant, and he let us know that as a former regular of the Kekabeka Falls Legion with his family, He knew how important Legion halls were.
You know, places like the Legion in communities like Atikokan, they're really the gathering place of the community. And be able to support the Legion in that work, but as well as the more important work they do in honoring our veterans who have given everything for us.
The upgrades will be used for, among other things, updating electrical work, replacing flooring, and upgrading the bathrooms. Some work has already begun, with the project slated to kick into high gear in early 2026. Joey Langdon, TBT News.